You know what? The more I hear about Princess Diana's grandmother, the more I dislike her. I just think she was a real villain. I don't like her at all. I'll let you know why I say that. I'm going to tell you a tale for our book bits today from Anne Glenconner's book, Lady in Waiting. Now, Anne Glenconner was about to enter her first season, and the purpose of any good season was to get hitched, to find an eligible bachelor to get married to, preferably someone from a very good family. And like I said, there was a dearth of eligible men because of the Second World War that had taken many young men far too early. And also in the early 50s, a lot of them were away doing their national service. So Anne Glenconner, there was a bit of stiff competition. I mean, the pressure was on. So she had a few boyfriends throughout the season, but nothing, nothing that really took her breath away, nothing that made her heart beat faster, until she met Johnny Spencer. Now, it's funny, in the book, she calls him Johnny Althorpe, which is sort of after his huge family estate. So maybe they used to put the family estate name as a surname for the potential beaux, so they would know who everyone was and what they actually owned. I don't know, but it was Johnny Spencer, who, of course, you know as Princess Diana's father. And they did actually have quite a romantic interlude, and I'm going to read you what Anne Glenconner said in her book. And then there was Johnny Althorpe. He had recently returned from Australia, having been ADC to the Governor of South Australia. Now, that's something I didn't know, so there's a bit of an Aussie connection there. The moment he arrived at Holcombe at my father's invitation, I fell madly in love with him. I thought he was wonderful, funny, handsome and charming. We went out together in London, and one night he took me into the garden and asked me to marry him. And from that moment, she says in the book that she's literally walking on air. We all know that feeling when you fall in love for the first time, and she was genuinely in love. And he felt the same way about her. But why do I say that Lady Fermoy was actually an old biddy and a bit of a villain? Well, Anne Glenconner was actually staying with her in her London house as a paying guest so that she could access all the London events of the season. And Lady Fermoy said, "Oh, you're stepping out with someone? How lovely. You must bring him to have a drink in the drawing room before you go out to dinner. I'd love to meet him." Well, she had an eye out for her daughter, Frances, who you now know as Princess Diana's mum. And yes, she had her beady little eye out looking for an eligible beau for Frances. And she obviously had no compunction to actually pinch someone else's fiancé, because that's exactly what happened. Anne Glenconner, unsuspecting, brought Johnny Spencer around, and she says in her book that Lady Fermoy's eyes actually lit up when she met him. Now, from then, all sorts of evil things took place, and there was pressure brought to bear on the parents of Johnny Spencer. There was pressure brought to bear on Anne Glenconner's parents, and the evil deeds were done and deals were made, and their budding romance and engagement was destroyed. Now, it's awful. It's just awful how Anne Glenconner found out about this. She was due to go off to a house party that was leading into Royal Ascot, and she was going to be in the royal box at the races, and she was going to enter in the royal carriages, with the royal family. It was all very exciting and lovely. And Johnny Spencer was supposed to meet her and be a part of this house party, and she was so excited because she was going to get to see him again, and they'd arranged to meet there, right? And they were going to have a lovely 2-3 days together. Well, he didn't turn up. When all the other guests turned up, he didn't turn up. So she wasn't too concerned at first, but she did sort of go, funny he didn't send a message, or funny he didn't telephone. But she put it behind her and joined in with everybody and had a lovely time at the house party. And then it got to that night, and she went down for dinner hoping that he'd be there having drinks, Nope, not there. So she's starting to get a little bit concerned at this stage, but she doesn't say anything. And then the next day she, goes down all bouncy to breakfast thinking, oh, he'll be there. No. And so they get ready to go to Royal Ascot, and she has the carriage ride, and she's in the royal box, and the day goes on. And while she's at Royal Ascot, that's when someone says, oh, actually, Johnny's ill. And she goes, oh, strange, that she wasn't sort of properly told that he was ill. But then she's very soon after that found out, actually, when they went back after the races and she was getting ready for a lovely dance and dinner and everything, she found out that the engagement was off and it was over. Now, she was really, really heartbroken. So you can imagine how she felt when it was later announced that Johnny Spencer was engaged to Frances. And Lady Fermoy just looked as pleased as punch. And I'm sort of glad that Anne Glenconner is really enjoying her life now. I mean, now she's a renowned and celebrated author. She's been on the Graham Norton show. She's done all this wonderful travel. She's done book tours. She's basically just having the time of her life. And from what I've read, I would say it's about time and it's well earned. I'll be back with another Book Bits very soon. Bye.